2021 was when I now look back to that time. I'm like, how did I manage? How did I survive? How is my husband still with me? How do I still have friends? Because I just retreated completely from the world, into my own bubble of grief and depression and despair. Awesome. I love your earrings, by the way.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I love to change them up and switch them up as much as I possibly can. I love it. I love your background. You look very colorful. You look like a very colorful person.
I know there's a lot of, you can only see a little bit, but yeah, there's a lot of flowers and plants around me. My little oasis, as I call it.
I love it. I absolutely love it. So thank you for saying yes to my invitation. Well, you actually reached out to me, in all fairness, but through whatever avenues and friend of a friend and post of something, it happened. So yeah, I would love it if you could tell me a little bit about yourself and who you are and what you do, and yeah, what you bring into the world, really.
Okay. Right. Buckle up.
Here you go. Clapping.
I can't even see my elbows. I need to make myself smaller. So I'm Ina. And I live in not so sunny Scotland. And I'm originally from a lot sunnier Germany. Probably not as sunny as most places, but I just spoke to my dad and he says it's really sunny. So, I'll go with what he says. And I am the BEO of BeelieVA Business Support. And I do help and connect neurodivergent business owners to find their perfect team to grow and scale their business. So essentially, I'm on a mission to find the right fit for them, from worker bees to business partners, because I really believe that the right people can make the biggest difference to somebody's business, and that's my mission in life, essentially. So that's where I am now. Maybe we need to go back a little bit.
Yeah, I'd imagine because I wanna find out about you, first of all, from a personal place. Like,
yes.
First of all, how did you end up in Scotland? Like, where did you start? How did this journey start for you?
So my journey started a long time ago. I'm older than I look. And I always, when I'm from a young age, I always knew I wanted to leave Germany. I was never, happy in my little village. I was, I always wanted to go and see the world. So at some point I moved to the Netherlands. That was my first stop. And then after that I moved to Cyprus. Again, very sunny. And met my husband over there because I was working there and he was stationed there. He was in the army, so he was stationed there. So we met in a pub, as you do. And I followed him to not so sunny Scotland. And I think when I landed here, it felt home from day one. As soon as my feet hit Scottish soil, I knew I was home. It was really, really strange. It felt really bizarre. But yeah, it just, that feeling when you're like, this is where I need to be. Yeah. So yeah, that's how I arrived on the sunny shores.
Wow. So apparently it doesn't bother you that much. If you stuck around, it doesn't bother me that much that it's nice and cloudy and cold.
I know. It's been 18 years, so yeah.
Wow.
Well, I have to say the weather, it drives me crazy. I think we had about 5 days of summer this year. It's been shocking. I remember in 2020 we had such nice weather. In 2021 it was lovely. We had months of summer. Now we had like a week.
Yeah, maybe there's still more to come. Who knows? Here we are talking weather. It's so funny because I've got a friend that lives there and it's the same. Like most of the times winter coats and jackets and whatever, you barely get any.
Yeah.
Apparently,
Yeah.
it's working fine for you. So you got to Scotland 18 years ago, you said, and
Yeah.
what then?
So I started working in corporate for actually the whole time I've been here. I started working in corporate organizations, or as I call them, destroyer of spirit.
Mm,
I kind of started working just in customer service essentially because as a German and Dutch speaker, it was really easy for me to find a job,
yeah.
in customer service. And there's a lot of companies here that were desperate. So yeah, it was all right. It wasn't terrible, but I switched companies. I think about 9 years ago. I worked for another company, which initially was great, and I thought, oh, this is a company in corporate that I really want to work for. No.
No.
7 years in, I was like, oh God, horrible.
Took
And
you a while. Took you a
it's
while.
like yeah, it always takes me a while. I'm loyal, I'm very loyal to my work and to my employers back then, because I
Yeah.
always think I'm gonna try my best.
Yeah.
But obviously it didn't really work. And then 2020 happened, and we all know what happened in 2020. The whole world shut down.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but we started working from home, I think 2 days before lockdown. So because they started testing it weeks beforehand because everybody kind of knew it was coming. So which was good. So the first half of 2020 for me was actually quite good work-wise because I was here in my little green, well, it wasn't green then, it was still a white oasis. It's since then changed. And I thought, oh yeah, this is great. I can do this for the rest of my life, not a problem. And then in December, I lost my mom.
Mm.
So she went into hospital for a hip replacement. She was a very fit 83-year-old. I mean, she was fitter than me, I have to say. She went to the gym every day. She was the most active person I know. She went to concerts. She out-partied me most days. But yeah, we lost her during that hospital stay, unfortunately. So yeah, as you can imagine, my world fell apart then. So I was off work for a while. I have to say my company then was really understanding and supportive of,
Mm-hmm.
they were like, you take all the time you need, which was good. But I think at that point I wasn't really ready to grieve yet,
Mm-hmm.
because at that point I was just functioning and try to keep myself busy and just, yeah, it was just trying to function essentially. Um, so I stayed in Germany for a little while with my dad just to make sure he's okay and doing all of that. And then 2021 came along, and I was really hoping that things would get better, but it didn't. I lost two of my cats. I lost my dog, all
Cool.
within a year. Also lost two of my friends. One died of cancer, and the other one passed away as well. So it was quite horrendous, for
Yeah.
lack of a better word. It was a horror show that year. So by, I think, July, August, I was in a very, very, very dark place. I just didn't know what to do anymore with myself. Essentially I didn't want to be here.
Mm-hmm.
So I went into therapy, and luckily I had private health insurance through my employer back then. So I had therapy within a week of making a phone call. I was in therapy, which was the best thing I could have done for myself because the 2021 was, when I now look back to that time, I'm like, how did I manage? How did I survive? How is my husband still with me? How do I still have friends? Because I just retreated
Yeah.
completely from the world, into my own bubble of grief and depression and despair. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but I dragged myself out of it. I clawed myself back into the light by the end of that year. So end of 2021, beginning of 2022, I was finally back in a place where my brain started, okay, what's next? Because you definitely don't want to go back into the office.
Mm. I mean, I totally believe that there's times in life when we need that. We need the
Hmm.
times to, and of course, people die,
Hmm.
things happen, and our physical human body needs to go through the whole grieving process. And
Hmm.
of course, there's a need for going within. And I believe that what you've done was perfect for what you needed at the time.
Yeah.
You needed to do that. You needed to allow yourself to feel all the emotions and everything. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It's been, yeah, I think the emotions were the issue because everything happened so fast.
Mm.
You just kind of started taking a breath from the last loss and the next one happened. So it blew my mind. I just thought, universe, really, what the hell? What have I done?
You're being prepared for something greater, you need to let go of a lot of old in your life. So I totally see it as that. You were prepared,
Hmm.
being prepared, because you mentioned the word universe. What the hell, right? Like universe preparing you for the next step, which I imagine you're gonna go into, because I'm so curious. What next?
Yes, and it did. I mean, if I look back now, who I am and where I am now compared to who I was 4 years ago,
Mm.
wow. All my friends are like, where does all this energy come from? I don't know. I think I've reincarnated my mom. You know, she's behind me kicking my backside.
It's integrated. I totally believe, like, when somebody out of our life transitions, it's easier for us to integrate those traits. So what you just said, I totally believe you integrated some part of your mom in your system. That's
Mhm.
pretty cool.
See all the greenery behind me and
Yeah.
around me. I never had a green thumb.
Oh
I,
wow.
I killed every plant under the sun. I did. Plants just came into my flat to die. That's just what happened. But since I think really my obsession, I call it that because literally, if you could see the rest of my office, you'd just laugh. Um, it's yeah, it's happened after my mom died, and my mom always had a green thumb.
Wow.
She was the green fingered godmother. So yeah, I suppose you're right. She's kicking my backside through my plants.
Yes, looking after you, leaving a
Mm,
part of yourself within you for sure.
yes, indeed.
So, so what happened in we got to like
2022.
2020?
I know. So January came along and I finished there. Well, I just about finished therapy and I was in a really good place, but I knew that something had to change in my life
Mm-hmm.
because I was like, I don't want to go through this hamster wheel anymore. I don't want to sit here and, you know, work 9 to 5 and just be unhappy because that's what I was. I wasn't happy. I was like, it's horrible. So, just started thinking, what can I do? Do I want to switch jobs? Do I want to do something completely different? Do I want to become self-employed? I don't know. And universe put someone in my way again. I think it was TikTok, and somebody popped up on my TikTok feed. Um, it was a virtual assistant coach,
Mm-hmm.
and I just kind of looked at her videos and I was like, huh, that's something I could do. I've been an admin all my life in one form or another. I've been, an executive assistant. I've been an office manager. I've been in customer service. I've been a team manager, an operations manager. I've done it all. So let me explore that. So I started in true Virgo fashion, exploring and researching until I was blue in the face, and I was like, right, stop reading and start doing something.
Mm-hmm.
So I built my website. And actually, I built my website twice because I accidentally deleted it once. It wasn't pretty. And and started putting myself out there, started to go on LinkedIn and on Facebook. I built myself a business page on there and just started talking about it. I was still employed at that point, you
Mhm.
know. I mean, the good thing is we were still working from home, I think 4 days a week, and we only had to go into the office one day. And
Mhm.
because I was working from home, I could do my work in about half the time I could do it when I was in the office. Which was great, which gave me a lot more time to explore my new passion. And obviously, it did not go as smooth as I imagined it would be because I was like, oh, I'm going to have clients in no time.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, that didn't happen. I think by August, I went into full existential crisis. Like, what am I doing wrong? Why am I not getting any clients? I'm talking to everybody. I'm networking like a maniac. I am always on social media. Why do I not get any clients? And you see other VAs that kind of started with me around the same time, and they all were fully booked. And I was like, what the hell?
Mhm. Mhm.
But then it happened. A month later, I got my first client, and then I got my second and my third. And by the end of 2022, I had a pretty good client base, to the point where I started thinking about quitting my job
Mhm.
and become fully self-employed. Um, and then in January, I had a bit of a bust up with my manager. So me and other team leaders and her were in a meeting, and my team was we me and my team we were all unhappy, because we've been trying to change things, we've been trying to move things forward, educate people on things, but nothing has changed in 7 years. you know so and my manager said this was a really good month end and we're doing pretty good, the teams are doing great, and I said no, they're not. And I could just feel my other team manager next to me go like, oh dear. And she was like, what do you mean? And I said, well, they're not happy. They're fighting windmills on a daily basis. You know, some of them are about to walk out and just go and work down the chip shop
Mhm.
because they're done. And she was like, well, what are you doing about it? I was like, well, what do you mean? What am I doing about it? What do you want me to do about it? Do you want me to break out in song and dance? What can I do? And she was like, well, you need to lead by positive example. And I was like, right, that's enough. So I just walked out.
Wow. Yeah.
I was so mad. I walked because we have an open plan office and we were in one of those glass offices. So I walked out, walked past my team, who just kind of looked at me because I was fuming. Walked past them, walked into the toilet, had a good cry, because I was so frustrated. I was like, I
Mhm.
don't know. And yeah, that was really the last time I went into the office. After that, I called in sick.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
This is again. This is the hand of God, right in there.
Mhm.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
thinking I want to quit my job. Let me help you out a little bit. Let's create this. Let's create the situation when it's
thank you.
gonna be made to. Oh, you don't want to make the decision just yet? I'll make you make the decision.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, looking back, I mean, I should really send my manager a thank you card because for being an utter and I just hope she doesn't see this.
But if she does, you know what? It's she sees the thank you part because
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
mean, everybody's got a different opening towards things, right? But in
yeah.
my view, the fact that you got to a place where you're thankful now for everything that happened, that's all that matters, right? After all, it was what you needed to move on and
Hmm.
fully focus on you, right? On your own business.
Exactly. Exactly. And it was the best decision of my life.
Hmm.
It was, I mean, looking back, after I handed in my notice, I had my business went crazy. Essentially, I had many more inquiries, and it just went from strength to strength to strength.
Yeah.
And later on in that year, I started working with my first neurodivergent clients, and it was that was another life-changing thing as well. I mean, my last 4 years have been nuts, as you can see now.
That's
um,
does.
yeah, so starting to work with neurodivergent clients was quite interesting, and I loved it, and I'm really good at it. You know, I'm quite good at adapting to to their needs and to how their brain functions, you know, to be able to extract exactly the information that I need and to help them process things and work on things and be more productive. But throughout this journey of working with them, I also discovered my own kind of brain a little bit more, because I always knew that my brain was ticking somewhat differently. But being, you know, a proud Gen Xer, I was like, be fine, you know. We'll just crack on with things. We'll just, you know, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I don't need a label. But then, you know, I started working with them, and it was just like, oh, I do that. And yep, I do that on a daily basis. Yep, I do that all the time. And oh my God, this actually has a name. You know, it was it blew my mind. So yes, I'm still on that journey of self-discovery when it comes to that, and hopefully at some point getting a diagnosis. But at this point, I don't even care if I need one, because
Yeah,
you know.
that's the thing, you know, you get to a point where you think, would I really need one? And as you were talking and describing, I kept thinking, my brother, because my brother, we all believe he's got Asperger's, or he's on the spectrum somewhere, right?
Mhm,
He's never got a diagnosis, but he at a certain point sent me a clip with a girl that was doing a TED talk, and
mhm,
I watched it and I messaged him back and I'm like, did you send me this because of my son or because of you? Because my son, my eldest, is autistic,
mhm,
like full blown,
mhm,
100%. So, and my brother's like, mostly because of me, because I recognize a lot of the traits that this girl has got inside of me. And then I'm like, well, would you want to go and be diagnosed? And he's like, what's the point? Because I'd probably outsmart the psychologist anyway. I'm like, typical. Typical, you know.
love it.
And he's like, I can live my life as it is, you know. I've lived so far this way. I somehow, he said that he somehow, just like you, felt like a piece of a puzzle just clicked into place. Like,
Mhm,
oh my God, there's a reason why I have this other world in my head, or I see things a different way, or I interact with people differently, or things like that. So yeah,
mhm.
completely
It's
mind blowing.
it blows my mind. I actually went to a networking event in Newcastle a few months ago at TommyCon. I don't know if you've heard about it. It's quite a big event for small businesses. There was about 1,000 people there, but there was a neurodivergent networking event beforehand,
Hmm.
and I think there was about 40 neurodivergent business owners, which was great because you could just be you, you know.
Yes. Yeah.
And I was speaking to somebody, and they said, "Oh yeah, you know, if I see you tomorrow, don't be offended if I don't recognize you. I have face blindness." And I was like, "Come again?" She was like, "Yeah, I often don't recognize people." I was like, "Yeah, I do the same."
Wow.
You know, I actually once reintroduced myself to one of my clients
Right.
because I didn't recognize her,
Wow.
because I'd seen her totally out of context, and I
Yeah.
did not recognize her face because it was out of context. And
Mhm.
she was like, "Yeah, that's face blindness." I was like, "Oh my God,
Wow.
that has a name, you know." And
Yeah,
it's discovering all these things. It's like my mind is blown.
that's interesting. So,
Yeah.
okay, we got to you starting your own business, and it expanding, and even that, because I picked up on the fact that after you finished the other job, you started getting more clients, which again to me is like, you let go of something old, something new has room to come in.
Yeah.
So how did you get to where you are right now? Like, because I know you're part of a book, right? A lot
Hmm.
of you ladies have reached out to me because somebody else interacted with my comment and whatever. So there's a book that you're all part of.
Yes.
Please explain to me about that, or talk about it. You don't have to explain anything. Just
So the book is called Beyond the Ordinary.
Yeah.
and it's written by the amazing Mandy Nicholson. She is an artist and she's a business coach. She's the creative genius. So she's amazing. She's also my coach, my creative genius. And yeah, she started, it's her second book, I believe, or her third even. Um, and she written the book, and what after she finished writing it, she thought, you know what, I want to have more people in here that are like me. I want to give women a chance to tell their story,
Mhm.
essentially. I mean, I just told you most of my story. But so she reached out to us and, you know, just put it out there on social media and said, hey, do you want to write a chapter in my book? And I was like, oh, yes, of course. Because she's neurodivergent as well. You know, she went from having a really successful job to losing everything to building everything back up and now running a six-figure business, you know. So she's brilliant, and she really encourages me as well to explore where I want to go next, and she pushes me to where I want to go next or where she thinks might be beneficial for me. And all the women that have written a chapter or are writing a chapter in this book, they're brilliant. And it's such a wide range of amazing humans. It's from artists to business owners to, you know, there's such a variety. It blows my mind. Her daughter, I believe, also has written a chapter in the book. So, yeah,
Everybody's in there.
everybody's in it. I think we're about 30 30 other chapters. So yeah, I think she wanted to have more, but then decided to keep it at 30 because otherwise the book would be about this thick.
Can imagine, because like if you shared, what did you share it, by the way? Because I'm imagining if you shared some of your story, it's quite a bit to share.
Yeah. So I think every woman in there shared a different part of their story. I mean, what I shared is, you know, a little bit of what I told you and going back further in my past where, you know, things have also not always been that easy.
Mm.
And yeah, just from where I came from and to where I am now and what's next in my universe.
I gotta ask you because he spot on. You just mentioned universe, perfect segue into what I was gonna ask. Anyway, because I'm really curious what your beliefs are when it comes to, I don't know, this is taking a complete different turn, but I feel like this is what I need to ask. So I'm going with my intuition on this one. What are your beliefs when it comes to God, universe, whatever you want to call it? Like, what do you believe is out there?
um,
Or do
well,
you believe any?
Mother Earth is sitting right there behind me. Don't know if you can see her above
Yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah. Just about
Um,
blending in
so,
with the plants.
well, let me start how I grew up. I grew up Roman Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
So my grandmother was a very devout Catholic. My mom, not so much. My mom was more of the I go to church at Christmas kind of girl.
Right.
Um, my dad's an atheist. Um, but yeah, I grew up Catholic, and my grandmother always dragged me to church. Even was an altar girl for a while. So there you go.
Mm-hmm.
However, it's not no longer a belief that, you know, it's yeah, no. Um, I I'm I believe in the universe, and I believe that there, you know, into the spiritual world. I know there's things out there that I can't explain, and the universe is and nature. That's my
Mm-hmm.
religion. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I believe in. Yeah, there are higher beings. I'm very convinced about that, but I don't believe that there's, you know, one God. That's not what I believe. I think there's something out there. Maybe someone or someone's
Mm-hmm.
people. That doesn't even make sense grammatically, but hey.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm I'm quite spiritual, I'd say. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any like practices? Like, do you meditate or do anything
Hmm.
like that?
Yeah, a lot. I meditate a lot. I usually meditate morning and evening.
Mm-hmm.
unless I fall asleep. But I usually fall asleep while meditating at night. So,
You
um,
take it into the dream world.
yes, which is brilliant. One of my former clients, she's a hypnotherapist,
Oh, nice.
and she actually recorded a couple of sleep meditations. And she has a brilliant voice. I love her
Mm.
voice. She has quite a dark voice, and it's very relaxed. And I love listening to her when I go to sleep. It's brilliant. And yeah, I dream very well when I have her and with my sleep meditation. So yes, yes, meditation. I love going on retreats, where I can just do a sound bath or meditate, do Reiki. Um, yes,
So you're in
all
there.
of the above. My desk is literally covered in crystals. There are there are a lot of crystals on my desks. They're
Nice.
everywhere. I actually have a crystal subscription. So
Oh wow. Yeah, you're next level crystal enthusiast, right? That's so cool.
but they're great because I have a lot of different ones, and I usually just, if I'm on a call, I instinctively grab the one that I need. If I'm on a call, I got this lovely one here, and I got loads of them around me, and I know which one I need. It's the same with my bracelets. I have lots of crystal bracelets. In the morning when I get up, I just grab the ones that I think I need for that day. It's all done by instinct. I don't
Instinct.
really take care.
That's
Today
really
I think I wore these ones, which are
cool.
quite
I was gonna ask you like what are you wearing today or which style you possibly grab?
yes. So yeah. Today I actually don't wear crystal earrings for a change. I thought these were quite cute, so I wore these.
I mean they go with the decor and your chair. I even love the
I know I'm very color coordinated.
I love it. I love it. Oh my god. Anyway, so where were we? Talking about
The universe.
talking about the book, but then see this is why I guess I don't have a specific, and this is why I didn't want to know about you that much, you know?
Hmm.
And I do this with every person that I have on here because I want to learn and I want to know new things and how
Hmm.
people overcome situations in their lives, you know, and
Hmm.
what they do. What do you do like in your free time? Like let's talk about that part. What do you like to do besides sound baths and crystal shop?
I know. It's actually quite funny. We went to a market the other day, me and my friend, and she said, "Don't let me buy any more crystals." I was like, "Are you kidding me? Are you asking me to tell you not to buy any more crystals? Have you met me?" Um, so what do I do in my free time? I love going to the gym. I usually do that before I start work. So
Mhm.
usually my morning routine is get up, work out, meditate, journal, and then I start work. So that's kind of my mornings covered. Because I'm an early bird. I usually wake up around 5, so gives me time to either go for a walk or go to the gym. But other than that, I love being outside. I love gardening, just hanging out in my garden. Obviously, with the weather here, it's only on certain days. um, I've I love just being out in nature. I mean, the good thing about Scotland is it's beautiful. There's
Mhm.
lots of places to explore, so I just love exploring, going to different places, finding new walks, hikes to explore. I love reading. That's another thing. I do read a lot. And now, 2 weeks ago, I was actually at Mandy's art retreat. I discovered painting, so I also started painting.
I
I'm
love that.
always up for finding out new things, and I think this year I found a lot of new things to try. I actually joined a choir as well because I always wanted to sing, but I know my own voice as a solo singer would, yeah, let's not. Yeah, in a group, you know. So I joined the rock choir. So yeah, it's just, trying all these new things because I've always just kind of, maybe I almost want to say I always just kind of existed.
Mhm.
But now I'm like, I want to live, I
Mm.
want to live every day to the fullest. I want to explore everything that I can explore. I want to live now. I don't want to just work 10, 12 hours a day and then drop dead in my bed and, do the same next day. No, I want to do all the fun things.
Mhm.
So hence I signed up for the choir, I signed up for the book, I signed up, for all of the things that I can think of that I wouldn't have done
Before.
a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and definitely not 4 years ago. But yeah, my whole mindset has shifted so much over the
Mhm.
last 2 years, I'd say. Because yeah, I
It is.
realized life is not, life is there to be grabbed and run with and
Yes.
do and be awesome.
I see. For me, it's so interesting how I've noticed there's so many synchronicities that are happening, and this one in particular. Today, I spoke to because I volunteer in a shop here in
Hmm.
town where I live, and the lady that was there, I spoke to, and she said exactly. We had the same conversation about doing things that you love, and life is not just to go to work and do a work that you hate, and then by the end of the day you're knackered and you just want to go to sleep and then get to, let's say, retirement age and be like, well, what now? I've done all this stuff, I worked my ass off all my life, and then now I don't have energy to do anything. And I just love how synchronicities happen this way. I spoke to her about it, and now you're bringing it up as well. And I love how it seems to me like people more and more do this and recognize this
Mm.
within themselves. Uh,
Hmm.
the way I look at it is more people awaken, more
Yes.
people realize that there's more to life than just going and slaving yourself and your time for somebody else,
Hmm.
when you could use that time for yourself. Time is our most valuable asset, and we don't
Hmm.
realize that. Maybe some people don't realize it up until they die. Maybe some people become aware of it earlier in life, like you just said, right? You're like, I can't do this all my life. I don't want to work a 9 to 5 job all my life and then go and not have any energy to do anything else with myself.
Hmm.
So I believe that there's a lot more people that are coming to awareness about themselves, about what they want to do, and stepping more into that. And it's
Yeah.
uncomfortable. To start with, it's freaking uncomfortable because, like you
Oh.
said, you have to go through that cocooning stage of, it's like the butterfly in the cocoon, right? And it's
Hmm.
eating itself up. You're literally fighting your own internal system and
Yeah.
come out on the other side flying and colorful like you are now, right?
And that's the thing. It's getting rid of that. Oh, what would XYZ think?
Oh,
What will my friends think? What will my husband think?
yep,
What will my dad think or my brother? At the moment, I'm like, I don't care. If
yeah.
you don't like it, hop it. You know, I mean, luckily my husband is like, yeah, you do you. You just do whatever you need to do. He doesn't care. He's like, yeah, okay. So you did what? Because I said to him when I joined the choir, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go and sing tonight. He was like, you doing what?
Uh,
I was like, yeah, I joined this choir. He was like, when did you do that? I was like, last week. Yay.
I totally believe, like, a lot of people say I don't have a voice for singing and whatever. I think we can all sing. We all have our own song, our own internal song. And whether it's, like you said, through a choir or just to ourselves in the shower or to our partners, so their ears explode to our own lovely voices. We all have that inner. And I believe that it's allowing our artistic self to come up to the surface, because
Mm-hmm.
we believe that you're artistic if you paint, let's say, or if you know how to sing or whatever. But it could be anything. It could be just knowing how to put your plants around your house, and it look in a certain way, or like even singing to yourself in the shower.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean that we have to stifle it all down, and
Yes.
it gotta be perfect, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we gotta make it perfect.
Yeah. And
It's not.
you know, for me, I always had this, because I'm a Virgo, B, I'm German. So
What
I
a-
have this very, very kind of, everything needs to be perfect and everything needs to be organized and this, that, and the other. And letting go of that was probably one of the hardest things that I had to do.
Mhm.
Because, right now my plans are just like, yeah, they just land where they land. My crystals land where they land. My desk usually. most of the day is a bit of a mess, but I usually try and clean it up at the end of the day. It's letting go of the perfectionism, doing this presentation. I mean, okay, sometimes I still fall back in old habits. I was doing a presentation and I started it last week and then I didn't finish it. And then last night I came back to it and I finished it. And I was sitting here till like 8 o'clock last night because, I wanted to be perfect. And I was like, nobody's going to remember this presentation. Why are you so anal about it?
I mean, don't get me wrong, I think there's a lot of good in the things that we've picked up and the people that we used to be. It's like when we change, it
Hmm.
doesn't mean that we have to completely forget about who we were and
Yeah.
what we've learned. Sometimes,
Hmm.
honestly, because I just said that and I'm making a bracket here, but that's what it's been happening for me in the month of June and July, at least. The darkest parts of my life, like it felt like I was being asked to forget everything about myself, everything that I've learned, everything that I've known, whether it's human or spiritual or whatever. I had to forget all about it. And
Wow.
it feels like I had to recreate something or to create something new. But then in all that, end of the bracket, we don't sometimes we think that when we start changing we need to change everything about ourselves, but there are a lot of things that we picked up from people, from our parents, from people in our lives, from things that we hear that are good and that are beneficial
Hmm.
for us. So you having that little streak of perfectionism, I mean, okay, maybe nobody's going to remember, like you said, but you have that. I feel like it's got a fulfilling kind of a feeling, right? I said
Hmm.
feel quite a lot in that sentence. Feel. Yes, there's a certain energy around it, right? Of
Hmm.
this is partly who I am, and I am embracing it fully, right? Because
Hmm.
after all, it's part of you, and it's part of who you are as a being. And it's not like you're doing it unconsciously, day in day out. You're just there, zooming in and wanting to be perfect. You've got a lighthearted feeling about it, right? So
Hmm.
you're giving yourself the time to just be easy about it, you know?
Yeah.
And
Just
then days
be.
when I'm like,
I
focus, focus.
know. But the thing is, doing the creative side, and I just really, really learned that 2 weeks ago, how much it makes a difference.
Mhm.
To, because you're using the other side of your brain, essentially. You're using the right side of your brain, whereas
Totally.
usually you use the logical left side of your brain. But using that first opens up so many new pathways. Because I went to this retreat with Mandy and we started painting, and I've never in my life have painted before, besides, like doing some drawings in school, but
Mhm.
because I always wanted to, but I was like, oh no, I'm not good at this. You start something with a pencil and you're like, yeah, this looks rubbish. Don't do this. But I painted over the weekend and solved problems after I painted, and I felt amazing. And
Mhm.
I walked away from this retreat, and it's been 2 weeks since then. I'm still on a high about it. I actually went last week. I went to the shop and bought a ton of painting supply because I was like,
Yes.
this is what I like to do. It
Yeah.
really made me happy. I was ecstatic, and I'm still ecstatic. So I started painting, and I love it. And it opens up all these new pathways in your brain that you haven't explored before. So do
Yeah, because
what you want to do, be what makes you happy, because
yeah,
it helps in other aspects of your life.
100%. This is what a lot of people don't get. Because I love how you describe the left side and the right side, because we've all been raised to believe that it's got to be just one way. You got
Hmm.
whether this way or that way. You can't have both. But in a lot of experiences that I've had so far, and knowing from other people, when you get stuck in this loop of I gotta do it and I gotta do it now and it's gotta be perfect, the more you stress about it, the worse it gets. When you
Hmm.
take the break and you do something different, and like you said, bring in something creative like painting, because it's so out of the same environment altogether, it's gonna help the other side. But a lot of people don't realize that. So what you just
Hmm.
described there, that's absolutely true. We have this belief that we gotta keep at it. Don't give in, don't give up, because it's seen as failure if you give up. And
Hmm.
it's not giving up after all, it's just taking a break. Take a break, do something different.
Exactly.
take yourself out of your environment. Like you said, you went somewhere else to a retreat, right? It's completely different than your day-to-day life. It's gonna create room for something new, just like everything else.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, you know, oh yeah, that's another thing I started doing is swimming, wild swimming, you know, not
Wow,
like,
nice.
so, you know, I started doing that last year as well. And, you know, and again, another life-changing experience, being able to go swimming in December in Scotland when
Wow.
it's freezing.
Do you really wear like a wetsuit or something? Or
No, no.
oh my god, complete badass high five. Bam! Oh my lord, that's impressive.
I know
Wow.
it's cold. I mean, I think the coldest was the what, and we only stayed in for like 8 minutes at that time. It was like
8
4
minutes is a
degrees.
lot. 8 minutes is a freaking lot. I don't know if you know about Wim Hof. Maybe you do. And the breath work and him being the Iceman, right? And
Yes,
he goes into cold. 8 minutes is a lot of being in the freezing water. Wowzer.
I know.
I would pat
But
myself
it's,
on my back right now if I
I
were
know
you.
it's amazing though. It's so good. And oh my God, the dopamine hit you get from
It's,
that.
yes.
Insane. I remember we went last, I think it was January we went, and we went into the water and there was literally ice on the water which we had to break so we could go in. It was just, oh, it was the best
Wow.
feeling. I mean, you can't feel your body after that.
But your brain is probably on
Oh
feeling
yeah.
like on crack. Hi, hi.
Well,
Yeah.
I actually read an article about that, or somebody told me about it. When you do wild, so essentially it was about cocaine versus wild swimming. And I know this totally is going left field now, but apparently if you do cocaine, your kind of dopamine level rises, I think, for about an hour,
Mm-hmm.
or even only like half an hour by like 2.5% or something, like something stupid. So
Mm-hmm.
nothing really.
Mm-hmm.
When you do while swimming, your dopamine level rises for 2.5 hours afterwards.
Wow.
So you
So
have 2.5 hours of a high coming up, you know, which is great because usually when I go swimming in the morning, afterwards I do 2 hours of work. I'm like
on fire.
superwoman. It's
Oh,
nuts. It makes, oh my God, such a difference.
I love that. I love that. My God, everybody should do that. And it's funny you said
They
about the
should.
wild swimming, and straight up, I had this image of something that I saw not so long ago, and I don't even know in what country this is. Maybe Netherlands, maybe not. Who knows? But people at the end of the day, when they finish work, they get into the river and swim downstream to go home instead of doing commuting and whatever. They put all their stuff in a bag that's waterproof and get naked or whatever, half naked swim shorts.
And
I don't
swim
know.
home.
Swim. Isn't that just freaking amazing? And it's not just, besides the fact that it's, there's so many things in there. Like, you're going swimming, you're unwinding after work, you're getting the benefits of being in nature. It's like the dopamine hit like that because it's chilling out, it's relaxing, all of it. There's so much
I
in there.
know.
And of course,
And you skip traffic.
see, another one. There's so and less polluting in the world because you're not using.
That is so cool. I need to Google that. I need to find
You
where that
need
is.
to. You need. I really don't know what country it was. It's somewhere in Europe, from what I've seen, but I cannot remember. I just thought that is a brilliant idea. That is
That's
such a brilliant
mad.
idea. Yes.
Well, there is actually a little island in the Netherlands that doesn't have streets. It only has little canals. So
Wow.
you can only get anywhere by boat. So all the streets are, it's like Venice. All the streets
Impressive. Yeah.
are
What?
just water.
Wow. Oh my
That's
God.
amazing.
I feel like we've covered so many subjects
I
in this.
know.
I love it. I love it. This honestly, this is what I want. Like, I don't know what expectations or intentions people have when they come on these, but for me, it's like I just want it to be as open and lighthearted as possible.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, I
And
love talking, as you can
yes, yeah.
see.
And then of course, like, if people want to anybody that's listening to this, they're gonna get something out of it, you know. And then if people want to reach out, because now I'm at this place now, if people want to reach out to you, you know, because you've got your business and whatever, they can totally do that. So
Hmm.
after this, I'm gonna ask you to send me your details, and I'll put it in this description for people to reach out to you. So where can they find you, by the way?
Everywhere. No, literally, I'm everywhere. So I'm usually, my main playground is LinkedIn. That's where I hang out the most. So my name down here, where is it there? Just look me up there. Also, I'm on Facebook and Insta, and I have a website as well. Don't know when this podcast is coming out, but my new website is currently being built, and it's called BeelieVA.co.uk. But I'll
Mhm.
send you the link so people
Yes,
can find it, because
brilliant.
yeah, so yeah, you can find me anywhere. I also run a Facebook group for neurodivergent business owners, for them to connect with each other and find the support that they need. So yeah,
Yes,
loads
send me the
going
link.
on.
The link of that too, of the group too, because I'm sure that people are gonna want to connect, you know, especially because
Hmm.
it's a different kind of niche, right?
Yes,
it's not the broader kind of niche. So I love it.
no,
Oh my God,
no, I fell into that one.
yes. But then obviously, like everything else, it was meant to be, right? If we
There
look
you
at it
go.
that way, it was meant to be. One way or another, I think life would have guided you to this path anyway,
Yeah.
because it's partly who you are. It's part of
Hmm.
what you're here to do in this
I
world.
just wish it could have done it a little less dramatic.
But oh my God, everybody says that. We all say that. I'm the same. I'm like, can you just fucking ease it off a little bit? This is too much. But then there's so much benefit in that too, right? There's so much
Yeah,
benefit in the, and we
you
can always
learn.
ask, like, okay, next time, can you please send it lighter, not so dark,
Yeah,
right?
just a little less dramatic would be great.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Oh my God, this is so great.
Oh, amazing. Oh, I
Well,
really enjoyed talking to you. That has been
you too.
awesome.
I mean, my face is like gonna be stuck
I
like
know.
this. This is so good. Oh, all the laughter.
Oh,
All the
brilliant.
I mean, see, my name is Phoenix. My name is many other names. One of my nicknames is Giggles, and it's short and Gigs. So there's still people that call me Gigs, and I love that. I love to have that energy in here too. You know, besides the fact that seriousness and life and whatever, but there's gotta be fun and laughter. You know,
Hmm.
because we take ourselves so seriously, and sometimes we get wrapped up in all that loop of it's gotta be serious and it's gotta be straight.
Yes,
We gotta have lighthearted conversations too.
absolutely. We
So
do. And we did. We
yes,
covered a lot. We went from dark to light to
yes,
color.
I love it. I mean, all in one conversation, and I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that you reached out, and well, however it happened, we got here.
We got here. The
Yes,
universe put me in the right place. What the
yes.
hell is going on with my hair?
I don't know. It's doing its own thing.
I know. Of course it does.
Anyway, thank you very much for being here. Thank you for
Thank
accepting
you.
to get on this conversation with me. And yeah, this will probably be out in October sometimes
Cool.
because I've
Sounds
got a
good.
humongous backlog at this moment. And I love it because this is what I wanted to do. And
Oh,
I said
amazing.
I wanted to do this. It just literally came to me a few months ago when I started this whole thing. So
Wow.
and then the more, when I started, I was like, and I still do, I've got episodes when I just talk to myself, you know, it's like my internal
Hmm.
monologue. It's a Dear Diary kind of a thing. But I also thought, oh, I can start inviting people. And then it just become this, I really love this thing. You know, I want to do more of this. So here we are. Here
And
we
you're
are. And here,
awesome at it. Keep doing it. I can't wait to
thank you.
listen to all the episodes that are coming up. So
Thank you very
excited.
much. Yes. Well, have a great
Awesome.
rest of your day.
You too, and an amazing weekend.
Yes, thank you very much.
All right. Talk to you soon.